Do you remember Zombies Ate My Friends? Zombies Ate My Friends, or ZAMP for short, was a pretty popular zombie mobile game released back in 2013 by Glue Mobile and Blamo Games. And it threads the line of being an amazing mobile game, but also being the worst possible kind of mobile game. What made it so good was its simple gameplay tied with a very unique art style and interesting story along with lore. However, I am 100% certain that probably less than half of the people who played the game actually managed to get to the end. Why is that, you might ask? Well, because it has a gameplay mechanic that has plagued far too many mobile games, even up to this day. And that's the infamous energy system. Now there are some games that do a decent job of making it balanced, but Glue, being the mobile equivalent of EA, took that system and doubled it, because the amount of energy you have to spend just to play and how little you get back is atrocious. Which is a big shame, because if you disregard the energy system, the game was great with a lot of potential. Especially with its story, which many players never got to experience, at least until now. As in this video, I'll be going over the entire storyline of Zombies Ate My Friends. Now, a few side notes. First, I'm only referring to the mainline story, so I'll be skimming over a few details and side quests as the game just loves adding in filler content to waste energy on. There's also 10 chapters, or episodes in total, and I'm not going to do a title card for each one. So without further ado, let's start from the very beginning. It all starts with the outbreak of a mysterious zombie virus called the Zirus, or also known as Romero's disease. It originated from the zombie ant fungus, which is a real-life parasite that basically slowly kills its host before possessing its body. In ZAMP, however, the fungus has evolved to be able to affect humans. So, as the name of the game suggests, you play as the lone survivor of your friends, where you meet the first character, Chopper Dave, a pilot who's been trying to rescue as many survivors as he can with his helicopter, along with the first actual main character, Violet. Unfortunately, Chopper Dave was infected and turned, leaving you and Violet alone to try and pilot the helicopter to safety. Violet tries her best, but ends up crashing into the next town over. She offers to stay behind and guard the heli from any scavengers and tells you to go find a nearby survivor camp to hopefully find a mechanic to fix it. On the way, you encounter a guy named Raider, your average run-of-the-mill Skyrim bandit that won't let you through unless you pay his toll or do a favor for him. Whichever choice you pick, you'll be able to pass and find another survivor named Uzo, who asks you to help find his sister Laura, who knows the location of a mechanic. When you do find her, she's unfortunately already infected, but she does reveal that there is a mechanic named Blitz who is just a few blocks down. Blitz von Crank is a retired Vietnam pilot who is away from his family on vacation during the outbreak, and since then he's been on a mission to find them by going to several survivor camps and helping anyone along the way. He agrees to fix the helicopter, but you need to find him some batteries for his metal arm and some parts and fuel for the heli. After you get the batteries and parts, Violet radios you for help as a horde of zombies spotted her. Unfortunately, by the time you and Blitz arrive, she's already been infected. So Blitz starts the repairs and tasks you with finding the fuel in order to escape. However, you soon find out the only fuel left in the city is in Raider's possession, and while he'd much rather steal the heli for himself, he does reluctantly tell you where it is, which was inside an office building further down. But the door was locked and the keycard to open it is on the rooftop of a different building with a zombified security guard that Raider caused because he's a dick. Once you beat the first zombie boss and get the fuel, Blitz tells you of Dr. Dexter, a scientist working on a cure and should be able to help Violet. The group then lands on a deserted camp that you later learn was recently destroyed by a mysteriously powerful zombie. Afterwards, Blitz finds Dr. Dexter at Murphy's Law office downtown, and she's willing to help. She is currently working on reversing the chemical compound of dead to turn it into an antidote, but she needs a vial of it to mix with her own formula, which she left with her friend Red, a notorious zombie hunter who is currently tracking down the mystery zombie that destroyed the camp. Once you find her, she explains that she left the vial at the town's police station, which coincidentally is where the mystery zombie is at now. Once you take it down and recover the vials, you and Red escort Violet and Dexter to the helicopter where Blitz is waiting. Luckily for Violet, she's very resistant to the disease, but she still needs further medical attention. And due to the limited fuel and the other survivors on board, you and Red are forced to stay behind. As they make their way to the safe zone, Blitz informs you of a huge horde of zombies approaching a camp nearby and asks you to help those survivors while they're still escorting the rest to safety. In order to get there, you'll have to cross a bridge, and Richard, a survivor from the previous camp, offers to take his group to remove the roadblock on the bridge, but you'll have to clear all the zombies in the area. Meanwhile, Red goes out for supplies. After you clear the way, you get contacted by Dr. Dexter, who asks you to find her flesh ligament deduction device.
I beg your pardon?
It's something useful for tracking Violet's vitals and for her research on improving the cure. When you do find it, it's broken, but you also find a survivor named Teeter. That was a tech genius who was developing a communicator, but it was stolen by Raider. Teeter agrees to help you fix Dexter's device in exchange for his own safety from zombies and/or Raider. And then together, the group crosses the bridge to get to the other camp while Richard and the other survivors stay behind. You then find Lisa, the town's camp leader, who asks for help from the incoming horde since Raider developed a new gang called the Raiders that stole their supplies and are currently trying to take over other camps. Since you helped Raider before, you try to convince him, but he only agrees to help after you help him take down another rival gang called the Orphans, while also taking Teeter as collateral so he can finish working on the device that Raider stole from him. This is also the part where 90% of the players who are patient with the energy system uninstalled the game because of how intentionally bad the quests were designed to steal your energy. And after all that, in a totally unexpected twist, Raider takes the supplies and flees. And not only that, but he also lets some zombies loose inside the building that he held Teeter captive along with a few of his own men, just because he felt like it. You and Red then head over to rescue Teeter and escape to the rooftops where Blitz arrives to pick everyone up. Now with Violet fully recovered and everyone reunited, the next goal is a vaccine, as Dexter reveals about an old friend named Dr. Schlatzman who is currently making said vaccine to stop the spread of the virus. The group then heads over to the top of Hydrotech Corp, the company that makes dead and also apparently meth. Unfortunately, Dr. Schlatzman is already infected. He reveals that he is one of the 3 remaining scientists working on the vaccine, with each of them having one part of the formula, and since he was infected, he split his part into 2 pieces so that it isn't lost when he turns. Violet is able to find the assistant while you meet up with Steeler, one of Raider's goons from earlier. He tells you that Raider is at the bar celebrating as he had just used the unfinished serum on himself and his men who were infected. Once you find him and reveal that it's not the antidote, he'll agree to give you the rest of it if you can convince Dr. Dexter to help him from turning, and as insurance, he'll take Dexter hostage. But Teeter doesn't trust Raider, so he whips out his newly finished communicator device in order to keep track of her location. Raider then takes Dexter away and reveals that the rest of the serum was actually in Dr. Schlatzman's bathroom. Another backtrack and boss fight later, you have the first part of the vaccine, and now the next mission is rescuing Dr. Dexter. The group head to the city of Dexter's last known location, which led to a locked door and a note from Dexter herself with coordinates to the keycard for the door. Once you find it and get access inside, you find Dr. Branford, the second scientist working on the cure. He's also already been infected and his work was taken, but this time it wasn't Raider, but a corrupt police chief who wanted to use the cure for profit. Before you leave for the police station, Dr. Branford tells you that Raider is most likely taking Dexter to see the last scientist, Dr. William Knifeford, for the cure. So, the group splits up. Red stays back with the infected doctor, and you have to fight your way to the police station and recover the second formula. Once you beat the zombified police chief, Red radios you for help, as somehow the newly zombified Dr. Branford has trapped her inside. After you rescue her, Violet calls and says that she found a map of Raider's location from one of his zombified goons, but it's in a completely different city than what Dr. Branford said. But in actuality, it's just a dead end. This is literally just a filler episode as no story-related events actually happen. So, after heading into the real location, you find a survivor named Cindy, who tells you about a new gang called the Hoods, who have been abducting people for Dr. Knifeford to experiment on. Apparently, he was working on the cure and was generally helping people, but he went crazy and now he wants to control the undead for himself, turning the only hospital in town as their base of operations. Soon, you'll find a few survivors and they'll tell you that Dexter and Raider are indeed here and so is Cyrus, the leader of the Hoods. As you look for Dexter, you find Dr. Nifor's diary that explains that he wanted to control the zombies using Teeter's communication device, as it was actually much more advanced than Teeter realized, as it allows you to speak to and control the fungus that controls the zombies. Eventually you find out that Iris and Dexter aren't there, but you do find Raider, who has been cured and explains everything. Cyrus originally partnered with Nifor so he could augment the zombies. The reason is he planned to betray him someday and steal the mind-controlling device so he can have a super-powered zombie army to rule the world. And since Raider wants to be the one to do that, he agrees to help you out one last time. Raider tells you that the best way to defeat Cyrus is by infiltrating his ranks. You have to impress the Lieutenant of the Hoods, Jarvis, by showing your commitment to the cause, which is just the same thing as the episode where you had to help the Raiders, and it ends with you finding a rocket launcher. Jarvis is pleased and wants you to give it to Cyrus as a gift in order to fully join the Hoods. But as you head to his location, the Hoods camp has been overrun by a massive horde of zombies from the outside and the powered up zombies from the inside. Raider tells you to head out and find her while he'll deal with Cyrus himself by borrowing the RPG you found. Once you rescue her from what used to be the Hood's main base, an explosion happens in the distance and Blitz radios you that it was from Raider's location. When you head over there, you encounter the final boss of the game, a super-powered zombified Cyrus. Once you manage to take him down, you learn from Dexter what probably happened between him and Raider. Raider probably blew himself up along with the zombie controlling device, but before the explosion could reach Cyrus, he injected himself with the upgraded version of Dead to survive the blast. The game then ends with Dexter saying it's back to square one and finding a new cure. At least now though, you have some new friends by your side, and also Raider's dead, which is its own victory. So yeah, that's pretty much the story of Zombies Ate My Friends. You can tell that Glue was planning to milk this game dry if it ended up successful, and it's a damn shame. Because of its art style and the many nods to pop culture, it was obvious that Lamo Games, the ones who actually made the game, were really passionate about it. But Glue Mobile shoehorned in the freemium stuff for extra profit. I actually made a full video that explains the origin and downfall of Zamp in detail. If you'd like to check it out, the link will be in the description. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video. My goal as of now is to upload at least 2 to 4 videos per month, or more if possible. But unfortunately, researching and editing takes too much time, so I might try to cover some easier topics or games for now. Also, please like the video and subscribe if you enjoyed it. And if you want to support more videos like this, I also have memberships available. Next video will be an interesting one. You know by now that most of my videos are either praising or showcasing a bunch of underrated games, but this time I want to try doing the opposite. So next video is going to be what is arguably the worst fighting mobile game. I hope you look forward to it when it's out, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Take care.